Tao, come on up, come on up. Everybody's already met you, but round of applause for Tao anyways. Tao, pull up that seat a little bit. We just saw a direct head-to-head comparison of Manus, not on stage right now, but we just saw the comparison of OpenAI. So the talk of the town, everybody was talking about ChatGPT agent, right, which just came out yesterday.
Yeah.
I want to hear, I already seen that it performs better, that Manus performs a lot better, but I want to know what was going on in your Slack threads, like the moment it came out, right? What was the first message that got sent? What was the instant reaction? And how has that evolved over the last like 24, 48 hours?
You mean yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Like walk us through when it actually came out, when you were looking at it, initial thoughts, then you're running the evals last night.
Yeah. So I think it's like this. Yesterday we saw maybe it's the open sourcing model because Sam is talking about the open sourcing model for months. Yeah. So we saw maybe the release of the open sourcing model, but instead we get the ChatGPT agent, which is like we think it's a very great product. And because we also have some friends in ChatGPT in OpenAI, so we know there's something coming, but we don't expect that this will be a very like similar thing, to the general agent part. So the first thing we do is to go to the website, to check all these like use cases and all these demo videos. Yeah, and after watch all these demos, we can like very sure that this is something very like all the general agents before in the past 4 months. So the first thing is like we feel really like I don't want to use this word, but actually we feel really happy about it because to be in a startups, all the investors, all the medias will say that what do you do if there are some like very big companies? There is Frontier AI Labs do the same thing. They will describe this thing as a very scary thing, like the giant will get you down and you will lose. But actually, if you have started one startup before, you will know when there are some big companies doing something like yours, actually you will feel really happy because you choose the right way, So actually yesterday, I think the whole team is very happy. We just sent our first tweet. It's like, welcome to the game, A very friendly town. It's like, we think it's really great to have some Frontier AI Labs to join this trade. So that's our first reaction, which is feel really happy about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are one of the first to enter the AI agents, generalized AI agents game, right?
Yeah.
You blew onto the scene. Everybody was talking about Manus, right? Everybody still is talking about Manus.
Yeah, same.
Now you have OpenAI agents, and you have a lot of people in general entering the scene, right? Everybody's going after the generalized AI agents.
Yeah.
What makes Manus best? Like, put it quite simply. What is it? The technology? Is it the UX? We saw it was better, but what specifically?
Actually, I think we did a lot of things to make Manus like the best agent in my opinion. But if you let me to choose one thing, I think that must be that sentence just written at the bottom of our official website. If you go to our homepage, you will see that sentence now. I personally put that there, which is less structure, more intelligence. Just like my keynote, like maybe 1 hour later, is like in the fundamental part of Manus, we choose to be the hand. We don't want to be another brain, We just want to build a hand for these very smart models. So we choose to build Manus in a very simple structure. But sometimes the simplest thing may be the hardest thing. So we choose the hard way. We choose to build this agent in a very simple structure. And we leave all the intelligent part to the models. But it turns out this should be the right way to build a general agent. Because once you just forget all about all these like predefined workflows, all these like to use different system prompt to limit the true potential of LLMs, when you figure out how to do this simple structure in a proper way, you release the true potential of LLMs. So I think if you name me to choose one thing that what makes Manus the best general agent is that sentence. It's less structure, more intelligence. Yeah.
Less structure, more intentions.
Yeah, more intelligence. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's why it's better right now. I'm also curious to know what you think is your moat, right? What is your persistent edge?
Yeah.
We can talk about, like, is it the team?
Yeah.
Is it the culture? Is it like your approach that you just said there?
Yeah.
Is it go to market? Because this is going to be a many years long game.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
So how do you keep that persistent edge?
Yeah, we answered this question in the past 3 months is to many investors. Everybody is asking about your moat. But actually, I think being a startup, sometimes you don't have all these resources. You don't have all these like competing advantages for these big companies. So we never thought the moat is like some technology secrets. Yeah. So actually, we share everything. Like just 1 week after release Manus, when I doing all these user meetups around the world, we just share all the concept of how we made Manus, just like the less structure, more intelligence bar, and a lot of other sharing. And just one article we released this morning from our chief scientist peak. He is just like explaining the whole context engineering philosophy behind the Manus on our official blog. We never hide these things. So we never think that the moat is based just on some technology secrets, We think the only moat a startup can have is just to work really fast. Yeah, I know like someone in some frontier AI labs say Manus is 6 months ahead of other AI agent. I think it's really a comparison for us because we think we are only 3 months ahead. But we want to keep this advantage. It's like every time, when others catch up with us, we are always 3 months ahead. That's the only way to build the moat to being as a startup. Yeah. So
exactly,
yeah.
And that. From all of us here in Silicon Valley, we know that, right? That is one of the most important advantages of being a startup, right? Is that you can move quickly, much more quickly than the incumbents can.
Yeah.
Another common Silicon Valley thing, who here has read 0 to 1 before? Peter Thiel's classic 0 to 1. Okay, we got a decent amount of hands going up. You read it too. Great.
Yeah, everyone's reading that. Yeah.
You start by finding your niche and owning it, right? Land and expand. That is the common Silicon Valley mantra. Find that niche and then expand from there.
Yeah.
It seems to me, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, that you're taking a very broad approach. We're going to solve everything. We're going to do generalized agents and win the whole thing. So talk me through that strategy.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it's really interesting that after release Manus, when I came to Silicon Valley in March, I talked with a lot of like agent staff founders and agent researchers. And what I found out in Silicon Valley is that everyone is building vertical agents, Yeah, it's like a sales agent, marketing agent. But actually, it looks like no one is building general things. I think that's our opportunity, actually. That's why we get so much attention. It's because we may be the only one, maybe the first one at that time, to build some very generic agents for average people. Yeah, at that time, like around the world, everyone is building coding agents. We have a lot of coding agents in the past 6 months, right? But for us, it's like we just want to democratize the AI power to normal people. Yeah, we don't want to just build another thing for ourselves, for our friends, for our colleagues, because we are all living in this tech industry. We just we think the AI technology is mature enough, and we want to democratize the AI power to normal people. So that's our, how we come up with the idea in the first place, is we want to build something for normal people. And when you want to build something for normal people, for average user, it seems not right to just build a very vertical product. Why is that? Because in the past 2 years, I was like in many AI hackathons. I was a judge, and in all these AI hackathons, there will always be one type of ideas coming out, which is AI trip planner. Yeah. In every AI hackathon there will be an AI trip planner. Every time I saw that, I was like, oh no, not again. Yeah. But why is that? It's not just because about the technology will not work. Actually, technology works. Because in these AI hackathons, trip planner may be the best project because it looks fancy, it looks awesome. But why I don't like it is because this is the problem from the business side, from the business model side. Because when you are targeting consumer market, the frequency really matters. As a normal people, they only travel like 1 time or 2 times a year, and some people they never travel at all. So if you want people to remember, like you are an AI trip planner agent, you want people to remember you when they need you, which means you have to put a lot of money on advertisement to let people to remember you, or when they search something, they will saw your ads and they will get to you. So frequency really matters. So I think it's really like the B2B verticals. In B2B, you can just do verticals and you can get some customers. But in the consumer market, if you go too vertical, you go too long tail, it's really hard to, get these users.
So you're begging me to ask another question.
Yeah.
And that follow-up question is why B2C versus B2B? It's another common Silicon Valley mantra that it's much easier to do B2B.
Yeah.
So why B2C?
Actually,
and you can keep this one a bit shorter because it's related to what you just said.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think there are a lot of reasons, but I think maybe the true reason is that in my whole 15 years career, I spent like more than 11 years in consumer product. So it's very easy for me and our CEO, we come up with the idea that we should build something for consumers.
That's a good answer. And you're nailing it. Yeah. You're absolutely nailing it. Okay. Another thing that fascinated me that I think you said right near the beginning of your keynote is that you're not building a foundation model. Yeah. Right? I'm interested to know, you have, let's say OpenAI now is your main competitor. I know it's been 24 hours, but let's say they're your main competitor. Yeah. They're fully vertically integrated, right? Yeah. And maybe you could say Claude Code is another. I use Claude Code every single day. I love Claude Code. They're fully vertically integrated, right? And you see how like Cursor now is struggling a little more because they're not. So, but it sounds like it's a very intentional choice to not be fully vertically integrated, not building your own foundation models as well as your own agents. Walk me through that as well.
Okay. So I just want to clarify on this question is about to not being a model company, how to compete with them. Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I think in this year, 2025, I think maybe this is the best year for AI application layer company, to get started. Why is that? Because, I think maybe 3 years ago, model, the top tier model, is a very rare thing. At that time, the only model we can use is OpenAI's model, right? But in this year, we have a lot of like very advanced models from many frontier AI labs. So I think the frontier models are getting like commoditized. So it's like you can just choose any advanced model and at a proper price. So I think to being AI application layer company, the advantage is that in any given moment, you can always choose the best model, for the right task. So that is kind of like a advantage. So you can iterate fast because you don't need another 3 or 6 months on model fine tuning, things like that. You can just use the existing best model. So I think this is really the best time for like AI startups doing applications. Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense. It's like how nobody does their own cloud infrastructure anymore, right? Everybody uses AWS or something like that.
Yeah.
Right, it's commoditized. Makes sense.
Yeah.
How about you're focusing a lot on the user experience, right? And being for the everyday person, you're traveling all around the world, talking to users, understanding use cases.
Yeah.
Talk about how user experience, user research goes into how you're building your product.
Yeah. So at first, we are general agent. So we're really happy, when we build Manus, we have a lot of moments was like, what the hell? It's like, how can he do this? Yeah, we have a lot of moments like that. So when we release Manus, we just want all the users to have their own aha moment. But, after like 2 months, we found that like, for most of the aha moments are coming from very long tail because they can't find a solution ready on the internet for these very long tail tasks. But when we're doing some user interviews with our users, we found out maybe they will find their first aha moment with this long tail use cases. But at last, they can't do that long-tail tasks on a daily basis. They still have to solve their daily work. So that's kind of like some inspiration we get from all these user interviews. So right now we're kind of like more focusing, like on knowledge workers. Yeah, it's like how to be their best research tool, how to be their best documents co-pilot tool. It's like when you want to deliver a PowerPoint, we want to be the best co-pilot there. When you want to figure something out, we want to be the best research tool there. So I think that's the learnings we learn from users. It's not just the focus on these magic moments. It's also about the frequency, the retention thing. Yeah.
I love it. All right, I'm going to switch topics a little bit, and I want to talk about kind of a little bit in the global politics area. I want to understand you are one of the most globally prominent companies internationally. And from China, I know you're now in Singapore, right? Can
yeah.
you just
We just like the whole company is based in Singapore. And,
so I just want to understand. I think a lot of us here want to understand like what are the headwinds that you're feeling, if any. You can also say there's no headwinds.
Yeah.
That there's but I want to understand like the headwinds that you feel being a Chinese or Asian in general company.
Okay. I think it's just like I think there are a lot of like talents, in Asia.
I want to hear about that too.
Yeah. Because actually we have a lot of engineers and they are very good, and we work really hard. And in this AI train, we think US must have the the best models out there and the most mature like infra layers there. And for this company like Butterfly Effect, from the first day we started this company, we targeted to the global market. So on the first day, even for our previous product, like Modica, which is a Chrome browser extension, we don't provide services back in China because we, at that time, for Modica and now for Manus, we only use like Anthropic's model and Google Gemini's model. And in their like kind of like a policy, they don't allow us to provide service in some specific countries. So this company, on day one, is focusing on deliver the best AI user experience for the global market. So that's kind of like the mission, and that's why we choose to relocate to Singapore. That's also one reason. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I've definitely noticed the global first approach. That definitely shines through in everything you do there. I'd also be fascinated to know, like, what does a user using Manus look like in different parts of the world? Because I think a lot of people building here, myself included, think about US audiences only. So I'd love to hear how you think about that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting one because, I think for the past 2 months we have some like user studies across the world for different countries. And we found out that actually there are some very big difference. I can just give you 2 examples, if that's okay. 2 examples.
Please.
Yeah. So it's like we have a lot of users coming from Brazil. Yeah. And in Brazil, we found out most of the users, they don't use computer to access Manus. Like maybe like 90% of them are using their phone to access Manus, which is really different when you're comparing the users in US. And also, the background, of those users are really different. I think in US it's more for like knowledge workers, but in Brazil I think most of them are like small medium business owners. So they will use Manus to generate some like product page or service page. They can show it to their customers, and they don't care about the domain name, which is the Manus.space. They don't care about it. They just want a web pages, and they can send it to their customers. So the use case is really like different when you're comparing to different countries. And another thing I can share is that in June, we released a new feature with the Manus slides. It's like Manus can deliver very beautiful slides for you. And when we look at the Manus slides features, like how different country users use it differently, we found out that because when we are not just generating the slides for you, we also have an edit feature, which is like you can edit the text, the image after we generated it, because now AI can't be perfect. Sometimes you have to do some like final touches for your slides, right? And when we look at like the adoption rate of that feature, edit feature, we found out that on a global average, it's 20%, which is like 20% of users will edit their slides after we generate it. But in Japan, this number is 40%. Yeah, they're super like cautious. They're very serious, about the size, So there are very interesting like different behaviors across different countries. Yeah.
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 All right, awesome. Let's switch to talking about the future.
Oh yeah.
Future plans, what you're doing, but also I want to hear from you. I think one of the awesome things that we get being here in the AI world is we think a lot about the future. We spend a lot of time thinking about how, I hope, spending a lot of time thinking about how the technology that we are building impacts the rest of society.
Yeah.
Certainly with the AI Collective, that is one of our big focuses.
Yeah.
Talk me through what you think the future of work looks like, because you are so deep in this and you are building the future. What does that future of work look like, and what part does Manus play in that?
Yeah, I think talking about the future, because I'm the chief product officer, I just will think this question from the product perspective. The first thing is about how to run a task. Actually, right now, you still need the human to trigger Manus to run a task. You have to assign a task to us. So I think in the future, there are many ways to like trigger the task. There's like right now we have a schedule task, which it will automatically run by itself on a daily or weekly basis. And in the coming weeks, we will have like some new features that Manus will just like split the main task into many subtasks. And all these tasks you may not get aware of, but Manus will do a lot of job behind the scene. And also, I think in a far future, maybe next year, after like you get more familiar with the agents and you have more trust into it, maybe with your like more your personal context. So maybe Manus will work by its own, to prepare something before you even ask. So that is kind of like this future. It's like a real personal assistant that you trusted, That is one way. Another way is like, actually, I think agents is always about tool use tools. Right now we have a virtual Linux machine, right? I think in a not very far future, Manus can also have like a virtual Windows, virtual Android, so Manus can use many more apps and also many more services. So maybe Manus can like prepare some event or emails for you, things like that. So that's kind of like the future, yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's the future of the product, and I love it. It's a very exciting roadmap.
Yeah.
So extrapolate this a bit for me, right? Put on your futurist hat.
Yeah.
You're allowed to speculate a little.
Yeah.
Let's say that Manus is going to become the next Google, right? Manus becomes a multi-trillion-dollar company. We have
that's a man, yeah.
This is also in the future. I mean, that's certain. Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about the uncertainty.
Yeah.
You have billions of people using Manus every single day, and they're automating large swaths of their day-to-day tasks, work, life, and otherwise.
Yeah.
What does that future look like for society, for our economy more broadly? And this is speculation.
Yeah.
This is you speaking as a person and not as Manus. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. I think it's just like after we human invented cars, we can get somewhere we never think we can get, right? Because only with cars we can get as that far. And I think with Manus, with all these agents out there, we think agent market is really big. It can contain a lot of different type of agents. But I really believe in this agentic future, which is like all these agents will just expand the boundary of humanity's productivity. Which means one man, one woman can deliver much more than we can deliver now. So, which means at that time, right now we still like have some in the whole world. We maybe have like a top 500 companies, and each company maybe have like thousands of employees, right? But in the future, maybe there's gonna be like a top 5,000 or top 50,000 companies, and maybe each of them may not have that employees. But this is not means you will lose your job, which means we can find some new things to do, some new business model, some new services. Just like we invented cars, then we will have some jobs for gas station, like for self-driving tours, right? Things like that. So that's kind of the future we are looking at. Yeah.
You're democratizing AI, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
That's it. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so last question, and then we'll turn to Q&A. So start preparing your questions and everything like that. I was rewatching the Manus announcement video that went, super mega viral all over the world this morning. I was rewatching it, and I believe it was like the first or second sentence was that this is a possible glimpse into AGI. Now, you're not the first company to say that.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of companies. GPT-4, I think, was a glimpse, at least before they edited the paper.
That's very
It was a
great.
glimpse in AGI. How close are you trying to build AGI? Like all the big foundation model companies, is that like an explicit goal of yours? And regardless of that, what is your timeline to AGI? How near do you think you are? And then what role, if you're not building AGI yourself, what role does Manus play in that?
Yeah, I can get your question. It's like actually from a builder's perspective, I think we've already reached AGI many times. But the problem is that whenever we human reach AGI, we will always set a new standard for the AGI. It's like if you drag somebody from 3 years ago, drag him to now, and to let him to watch the magic of Manus, the magic of Google View 3 video generation model, or OpenAI's image generation model. They will get shocked. They will not think this is AGI. This is a magic future, and they will think maybe it's like 50 years later. But we've done this under less than 3 years, so that's the problem. The problem is not about whether we've already reached AI or reached AGI or how far it is. It's like we think it's like a human is a very adaptive animal, which is like we are very kind of used to it. It's like whenever we find something magic after 1 month. But in AI trends, it's after 1 week, we will get used to it. We say, oh, this is something when I used from when I was growing up. Yeah, things like that. But I think the problem is not about whether we can reach AGI. The reason is always about how to make sure in the future, like maybe 6 months ago, 1 year or 10 years later, like all the people, all the average people can get access to the most frontier technology. I think that's what we care about the most. Yeah.
It's a noble mission.
Yeah.
All right. Round of applause for Tao. That was awesome. All right. We are going to go into Q&A, and I'll try and make it relatively quick because I know it's Friday night and we all want to get to the whatever we're doing after this. I also have 5 pairs of AI Collective socks. So the first 5 people to ask a question get a pair of socks. And you were straight for it. I am going to walk this mic over to you because I do want you to speak through the mic. And you also get a pair of socks.
Okay. Yeah. He's the first one. I remember. Yeah.
Well, that was my question. How do I get a sock? Okay. I'm kidding. Hey, Tao, I love it. I've been using Manus just for a week. And the question is, unlike all the demos here, my usage of Manus is very different. I'm building Chrome extensions. And right now, for the first time, I downloaded your Android app. And I asked it to build me an Android app.
Okay.
Right. So it's doing this for 15 minutes.
Can we do that? I don't think so. Yeah.
Well, your Chrome extensions are great.
Oh, yeah.
But let me ask you a question. With all of this focus on content delivery, creating slides, creating PDF, creating Excel, you seem to have this entire feature of actually creating products.
Okay.
Why are we not talking about that focus?
I think that's just the limit of the current model's capability. Yeah, because about their context, the limit is not ready for a large project that can work. Like your use case, you want to build an Android app, and normally that is will be a very super big code base. And I think right now, the capabilities of these models can't handle that large projects. But we think just like our philosophy with the less structure, more intelligence, it's like because we keep the structure as simple as it is. So maybe like 6 months later, when the models evolves, maybe we can solve these problems, but just not now. Yeah. Okay.
Great. Okay. We're going to try to make these questions a little more rapid fire, okay? Because I do want to give people time to come talk with the Manus team after and everything like that. So let's keep Tao, if you can keep the answers to like 1:30, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, you were the loudest.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tao. Love Manus, and I have a question related to MCP.
Okay.
So we are seeing a rapid rise of MCP, Model Context Protocol, proposed by Anthropic last November, which
Yeah.
also enables LLMs to connect with external tools through MCP servers.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm building an MCP server marketplace, mcpstore.co. There are more than 24,000 MCP servers. So do you see this? Do you see the future? How do you see the future of MCP server ecosystem? And also, like for the future of Manus, do you think it will be compatible with MCP servers,
Yeah.
or do you see it more like competitive?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, so I think it's a really great question because many people ask us, does Manus use MCP? But the problem is that when we started this project back in last October, there's no MCP. So we kind of like build our own mechanism of MCP ourselves, Yeah, inside Manus, we have some like very similar mechanism to that. And I think it's very easy to get compatible with MCP mechanism. And why we're not doing that right now is because right now I think the ecosystem is not ready yet. Because if you are really building an AI agent, because AI agent is all about function calling, about tool use. So if you put a very large MCP server in, which means you will bring hundreds of different functions to be called. And right now, because the limit of the concurrent current models capability, if you give them a tool set more than maybe 30 or 40, they will have some very significant performance reducement. So I think that's a problem that the model company will solve from their side, and also the MCP ecosystem will also like figure out a better way to do that. And also another problem is that right now, because the MCP ecosystem is kind of like all from third-party volunteers, so actually each MCP server's quality is not guaranteed. And when you are doing function calling, it's always about how to describe the function in a very proper way and a very precise way, But if we just get into some unknown MCP server and we don't know how they describe their actions, their functions, we can't guarantee our user experience. So that's why we're kind of like evaluating the ecosystem, but may not get into the ecosystem in a near future. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here. Okay.
90 seconds.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So let's go specifically to the users' manners and users' behaviors.
Yeah.
So when we throw a task to Manus, and it will get started, and then we'll show how it works, and they will indicate you can interrupt me at any time during my work to provide new information or adjust the plan. But my curiosity is that how many of the users will really interrupt the AI and just adjust some kind of new plan. You just mentioned the Japanese people. The Japanese users, probably 40% of them will re-edit or revise when one task getting accomplished. But how many people will really
interrupt, right?
Interrupt. Because as a carbon-based intelligence, I always feel I'm not brave enough to interrupt the AI to do something. But I'm brave enough to revise something or to get something, just adding something, just when he just get one task accomplished.
Timing the questions as well.
Okay.
Okay.
So how many of that? Just a question.
I really love this question. Why is that? Before release Manus, we put really a lot of engineering effort to make Manus can be interrupt. We put tons of work to make sure that, because, actually I think this may be the first consumer experience that you can interrupt the AI process. Because before this, or you can use a chatbot. Chatbot is like you ask a question and you will wait until the AI finishes its answer. And then you can ask the next question, right? But in Manus, we put a lot of effort into that. You can interrupt anytime. But unfortunately, just like you described, only a very small percent of users. That's true. Very small percent of users know or they are there, to interrupt the process. Just one thing. Unfortunately, we want people to interrupt, but it seems out they dare not. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Tao, and thank you.
Oh, sorry. Where? Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So.
Yeah.
I can see her. Yeah.
Because I'm sitting very low,
Yeah, no, I can stand up as well. So thank you so much for hosting this and showing us different use cases. Really appreciate the talk. So I'm asking from a user's perspective. So I saw the OpenAI agent and also the Manus agent. I think is super cool. As a pro user for both, I'm curious, like, what are the different use cases between Manus AI and OpenAI? What are they good at and what are they not good at? Just from a user perspective, so I know what kind of task I can go for.
Okay, so I think if you are both pro users, I think our advantage will be just we focus on the deliverables. Yeah, we are not, we are just like some chatbot you can just discuss with. We're just focusing on the deliverables. So whenever you don't want to put a lot of time into a task and you just want the final thing, like a very organized and detailed report or like a very good layout slides. Yes, when you want these deliverables, and you can just come to us. And also another thing is like maybe you don't have a lot of time working back and forth, do a lot of following up questions. In Manus, like for me, I use Manus just like this every time. It's like, okay, just assign a task, and I will never watch it again, and I will put it back to my pocket because I know like 5 minutes or 10 minutes later I will get the result. Yeah, so which really give me confidence, Yeah. So that's the thing here.
Okay, last question.
Oh, last question. Okay.
Hello,
Here?
Tao.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. So I come from Tunisia, North Africa.
Yeah.
My question is about empowering African youth. There has been great cooperation between China and Africa, and Chinese government is empowering African youth, and African youth is contributing to the development of China by skill transfer and knowledge transfer. So I'm asking you if you envision any strategy to empower African youth by knowledge transfer and encouraging African youth to embody AI development in Africa and AI education, of course. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I think that may be a like too big a task for us because we are just like a very small startup and we are struggle to survive. But definitely, I think in the future, if we survive through this very intense competition, we really want to like give more like power to all the youth around the world, not just in Africa, just everyone in the world. Like 3 months ago, we started some like a campus program, which is like we will offer some free credits, free accounts for different universities. That is also the reason why we start these programs. Is that we want all these young people to have a chance to test the newest technology. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah.
All right. Round of applause for Tao. Big round of applause. All right, I did want to say 15 minutes so you can come up and talk to any of the Manus team. They're all bunched up over there. Thank you all so much for coming tonight. That's all we've got here.